Hi Canastota, I'm Sean Becerra, Superintendent of Canastota Central Schools, and this is the weekly video update for Friday, September 25th. To begin this week, I want to continue to emphasize the importance of everyone's cooperation in the daily health screening process. This is a crucial component in allowing us to maintain a safe and healthy environment that will allow us to continue to remain open. The electronic screener must be completed by 7:30 in the morning at the very latest. So let me repeat that. It must be completed every day by 7:30 a.m. for every day before your child comes to school. We're not trying to be difficult, but we are trying to be functional. If the screener is not completed, that means time taken away from our nurses. It requires us to contact you, and it could also interrupt your child's schedule. Again, your cooperation is absolutely essential on this issue. I'd also like to pass along some information we received from the Madison County Department of Health. The Health Department has partnered with SUNY Upstate Medical University to offer a COVID-19 mobile testing site next Thursday, October 1st in Wamsville at the Madison County Complex parking lot. The event will be held from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. and you must call ahead to set an appointment. You can refer to the county website or you can look at our school website for detailed information. I'd like to reinforce some key points regarding the daily schedule at the school. We realize that the current hybrid schedule is not what the vast majority of people want. I can assure you that everyone who works at the school would also love to return to a regular schedule as soon as possible. I appreciate the concerns that have been raised, and I'd like to spend a few minutes addressing some of the most common. First question that we had was one relating to the question asked, why is the school making any adjustments to the schedule, or are we just continuing indefinitely with what is currently in place? People may continue to, in their questioning, to make some valid points stating that kids need to be in school and that remote learning is challenging, especially for students in the lower grade levels. We agree and we completely understand this. As soon as we can safely transition to a more normal schedule, we will do so. At this stage of the process, we've done exactly what we said we'd do, which is open school, making sure that we had a safe and orderly environment, get a handle on our numbers in our cohort groups, and then make adjustments as guidance is updated from the state and as we further assess our capacity for safely allowing as many students to return to the school campus as possible. Now that we have the first 2 weeks under our belt, we've been able to identify several areas of opportunity to enhance our educational programs. We will be making an announcement regarding next steps next week. Please understand that many steps have to occur to make sure we get it right, including having necessary discussions with all involved staff members. Again, an announcement will be made next week regarding phase 2 of our reopening plan. Another question we received actually asked us why we did what the state was telling us to do, and was it just because we were afraid we'd lose money? The answer to that is that we will unapologetically look out for the financial well-being of the district. And when we rely on millions of dollars from the state to function, we absolutely pay careful attention to our actions to make sure that we're not jeopardizing our funding. If we don't receive funding from the state, we don't have a school. That's just the reality. So what is the thing that would cause us to defy an order from the state? We would defy an order from the state if it jeopardized the safety and well-being of our students. I would better understand people's objection to following state guidelines if we were compromising the safety of students and staff. We are in fact doing the exact opposite. I think the vast majority of people understand our position that we can't compromise safety standards, even though people want their child in school all day, every day. As I said earlier, we will do that as soon as we can do so safely and within the guidelines. And our announcement next week related to phase 2 of the reopening plan will address this. I can speak for everyone who works at the school. We would all love to return to normal. Please join us next Tuesday, September 29th at 5 p.m. for our next virtual community forum. We will start the session by providing some important updates, and we'll spend the remainder of the time answering more of your questions related to the opening of school. Finally, I'd like to leave you with some food for thought regarding how we can provide a great environment for our students to learn. As I mentioned last week, now more than ever, we get questions from parents asking us what they can do to help their child be successful at school. Starting last week and continuing in the coming weeks, I'll be sharing with you some simple ideas that will have a positive impact on your child's school experience. Last week, I talked about the positive effects of physical activity on our ability to learn. Today, we'll turn our attention to music and its impact on our brain. There are many ways that music positively impacts our ability to learn. On a very basic level, music serves to boost our mood, and when we're happy, the brain releases chemicals that primes us for learning. There is also something called neuroplasticity, which is sort of a fancy way of saying that we now know that our brain has the ability to adapt and change as a result of training and experience over life. At one point, people commonly thought that we had the brain that we had, and that was it. We now know that's not the case. We can actually train our brain to be sharper and more efficient in its operation. Professor Krauss, a researcher from Northwestern University, led a study on the impact of music on learning several years ago. And the conclusion of the study was that research strongly suggested that neural connections made during music training primes the brain for other aspects of human communication. It enhances neuroplasticity, or our ability to adapt and evolve, and even helps the brain to distinguish or prioritize the sounds that we hear. This is particularly helpful for students who might have auditory or processing difficulties. So along with physical activity, listening to and playing music not only gives us enjoyment, it helps us to be more effective learners in other aspects of our life. So what can you do to help your student achieve to their full potential, especially at a time when learning is more challenging than in a typical school year? Well, last week we learned that exercise was essential. Now add to that list the benefits of music. So I hope you have a chance to get outside and get some fresh air and exercise this weekend, and maybe talk with your child about getting involved with playing an instrument, or even pick up the instrument gathering dust in your attic and rekindle your appreciation of music. Until then, enjoy what is probably the last warm weekend of the year, and go Raiders.